What's happening, everyone, and welcome. We have a very interesting video coming for you today. It's something that is on the tip of everyone's tongue, something that is discussed almost on a daily basis in the footballing community. How big is your club? John is in the house, and it is an honour to welcome you.
Always a pleasure to be here. Although we are going to make a lot of enemies. I don't know how we come out of this unscathed. There's no right answer.
This is the problem with football. It's so tribal. Everybody's so opinionated. It's what makes it such a talking point. It's what makes it part of who we are. It's what makes it so interesting and why we love the game so much.
100%.
But it's also, you got to put on your tin hat.
I'll tell you, there's a few right answers. There's a few right answers along the way. There's a few right answers, but I'm
actually quite confident in my list. I feel like I've got it right, but I often think that, and then I often haven't.
Goes very wrong.
Yeah. So what we are going to do today is we are going to rank the biggest teams in the Premier League. The current Premier League teams, we're going to rank them 1 to 20. So this is the Premier League table. If the Premier League table wasn't about accruing points, it was about simply who are the biggest teams. And to define the word biggest, you have to factor in every single metric that can define a big team. You confident?
I think so. Do we have to agree?
No, I think we can have separate lists.
Okay,
we can have separate lists. I don't want you polluting my list because I'm very confident in my own list here. Okay. I really am.
Okay. Do you want to start us off with number 20?
Yeah.
The bottom. I think it's an easy answer.
20. We simply must agree on 20. Don't you think?
I think we've got the same name.
Bournemouth.
Brentford.
Yeah. I mean, there's very little
Much
in
of
it.
The same.
Very little in it. I'm certainly not particularly passionate about this. I think Bournemouth are smaller than Brentford, but it's not a hill I'm going to die on.
Yeah, I think I try not to hate too much on Brentford, but I live in West London, and it's about a feel. This is a feel as well as your opinion, and I live there. You see it, and you see. I don't see Brentford shirts. I don't see Brentford.
Do you know
fans.
any Brentford fans?
I don't know a Brentford fan.
No, neither do I.
I was born in Hammersmith. I'm a Fulham fan. I was raised in West London. I am. Maybe it's just maybe I just don't have that many friends, but I don't have a friend who I could call up and ask about Brentford.
No, I'm inclined to agree with you. They're certainly, undoubtedly, they're the smallest club in West London. So out of the 4 clubs, which is a huge amount of clubs within such a close proximity, out of the 4, Brentford are clearly the smallest. Smaller than Fulham, smaller than QPR, and obviously smaller than Chelsea.
Yeah, and maybe that makes a little bit of a bias for me, being a West London boy and fan, but I could accept Bournemouth or Brentford either way. They're my bottom 2.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. So I've gone Bournemouth at the very bottom. I haven't actually gone Brentford at 19.
Okay.
I've gone Brentford at 18, but I've got Brighton in between.
Okay.
I feel like Brighton they're kind of getting away with it, and it doesn't really make sense to me. I really don't. I respect them for what they've done. I think Tony Bloom is a genius. I think the way that they run themselves, it's very, very impressive and deserves credit. But in terms of the club, the size of the club, what the club represent, who the club are, I mean, they are about as insignificant as you can possibly be whilst remaining in the Premier League in terms of like who they are.
Yeah, but then that's almost the beauty of football, right?
Oh, yeah, the pyramid. I love it.
Amazing.
No, I love
you don't
it.
want to take that away, so I wouldn't use that to tarnish them. And I just think, I think they are so successful, they're punching above their weight. No, so maybe that's why I do have them down there as well. Don't get me wrong, but
the 11 on the pitch are incredible. The managers over the years, De Zerbi, Potter deserves credit. They've got it right. Tony Bloom, like I said previously, is a genius. He deserves nothing but credit. However, these fans, these fans that they get every week, they get decent amount in the Amex. Who did they used to support? Would be my question.
Right.
Because they didn't get that previously.
Yeah, I get you.
And Brighton it's seen as, I don't particularly like it, but it's seen as a glorious place to live. It's seen as an aspirational place to live. It's Londoners moving to Brighton who used to support Arsenal, who used to support Tottenham, who used to support Chelsea. Like, that is what their club is.
Yeah.
And I don't see what the pushback is. I think you can embrace that. Like QPR are a club I know a lot about. QPR are a club who kind of embrace what they are. They call themselves not particularly good. The slogan they use is not very good, but local. And they kind of embrace their size.
Yeah.
This myth that Brighton are anything other than infrastructure-wise a League 2 side.
Yeah,
with 10,000 fans at most.
I guess, but I don't know if anyone is saying Brighton aren't I think Brighton, probably the real Brighton fans are self-aware to know this as well.
Yeah,
like they are punching massively above their weight,
the
and that's the
Withdean-
dream.
And
like,
I've got
that is
only
the dream.
respect for like the Withdean Brighton fans. I've got only respect for them.
Yeah,
It's the new wave that have turned up and like adopted Brighton.
trendy. Yeah.
Trendy.
Well, we've got the same bottom three.
So I've got Brentford in 17th. Is that what you've?
Yeah. So I've got Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton.
No, sorry, in 16th. And so I've got Brentford in 18th, Brighton in 19th, Bournemouth in 20th. So now that's the relegation zone.
Yeah.
So we've covered the relegation zone.
Yeah.
Just surviving for me is Burnley.
Okay. Quite low.
It was. To be honest, here it was Burnley or Fulham.
This is where I think it becomes interesting with clubs like Burnley, because you go back to historically, Burnley are a big club.
One of the founding clubs.
They've won the league twice, top division. So
Yeah.
they're a team that, if you're a Burnley fan, you're probably now just like shaking the screen. Like, we shouldn't be that low. But it's like a recency relevance. I think I'm factoring in everything in mind. I haven't got Burnley that low.
Okay.
I've gone Crystal Palace.
Okay, that is low.
And I think it's bold because I think there's teams that people are going to argue should be below them. But for me, there's a little bit of a recency thing with Palace. They've done incredible. They've won the FA Cup, the dream. As a Fulham fan, that is the dream. But I think once a team wins a cup, there's a recency. I think, like, say Swansea, they won the League Cup.
Yeah.
How many years ago now?
Yeah.
If you were doing this list when it was 10 years ago, you might have said, well, maybe Swansea are more relevant in my mind and bigger than Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Or they're bigger than, but they're not.
No, agreed.
So I think you need to balance trophies, recency, fans, and all these things into it. So I've got Crystal Palace just.
Yeah, I think Crystal
17th.
Palace. It's a fair shout. They're not a big club. They're an impressive club, and they're certainly having an impressive time of it. I mean, this decade for Crystal Palace, the past 10 years, it's the best decade that they've ever had.
Yeah.
In terms of the way that they've been run, the players that they've been producing, the players that they've brought in, the players that they've turned into superstars, and then culminating it with the cherry on the cake. Not only winning the trophy, their first ever, which is important for this debate, their first ever trophy, but the manner in which they won it, beating Guardiola's, the champions at the time. They were the champions, the reigning champions of the previous season. So they do deserve a lot of credit, Palace, but they are certainly on this conversation. I've got them slightly higher, but I've gone Burnley here.
Okay.
Because the only thing that makes Burnley big is stuff that happened 100 years ago, which is relevant. I'm not discounting it at all.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I've got them ahead of Brentford for that very reason. I've got them ahead of Bournemouth for that very reason. I've got them ahead of Brighton for that very reason. But it's kind of pre-war.
Yeah.
It's pre-war chat.
Yeah.
Being a founding member is significant, of course, but there's only so much that can do for you. But after I've got Burnley, I then got Fulham.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, above Palace, I've got Fulham.
Yeah.
So I think, like, London's original oldest football club.
That's such a big thing.
It's a big thing,
It's a big
and it will
thing.
never
I
be
love the
taken away.
Cottage as well.
147 years without winning a trophy, but I think much like you mentioned QPR earlier with their slogan, as a Fulham fan, it's like it's part of the DNA now, which. The Big Six fans might sit there and say that's like a loser mentality.
No,
it's this, that,
you're
and the other.
great for it as well.
But it's like
that banner.
Yeah, exactly.
This is all.
Yeah.
That, like, to people who don't necessarily go to football on a weekly basis, that there is a famous chant that is sung on the terraces here, which is if an away team doesn't fill their allocation, you'll sing at them, "Is that all you take away?"
Yeah.
Fulham almost get in first and have a massive banner that they put in every away end that says, "This is all we take away."
Yeah.
Which I think is very impressive.
Yeah, I think there's a beauty in being slightly self-aware, self-deprecating. I think it's a nice trait, and I think Fulham though are, recently we've been up and down, but European final can't be discounted. True. I mean, Diego Forlan, 116th minute.
If you'd won that, it's such a shame.
Oh, Rory, 116th minute.
Yeah.
Diego Forlan and that team of Aguero, De Gea, Forlan. It's
what
a
can you
good
do?
team.
Lily Allen crying in the stands.
Yeah, so close to immortality. But for that reason, like I can see why Crystal Palace in my list could be above Fulham, based off the FA Cup, based off of winning a trophy. But I think London's original has to count for something.
I've got Palace above you. I appreciate that there are metrics that you could argue for Fulham.
Yeah.
The defining factor, I just think Palace have got more support, haven't they?
Probably.
I think Palace. They haven't got. I don't think Palace are the biggest club in South London. Weirdly, I think Chelsea are probably the biggest support in South London. Maybe even Arsenal. Because it's not a fair thing. But in terms of like clubs that are south of the river, Palace are the biggest.
Yes. Yeah.
And the success over the past 10 years. And then obviously they had a previous era, what was it, 91, when it was Ian Wright and Mark Bright, the Wright and Bright partnership, John Solarco and whatever else.
Of course.
Like they've had their moments, but I do appreciate that there's not much between Fulham and Palace.
No, there isn't.
Who have you got next?
I've got Burnley, so just above them. And again, it's what we've discussed, based off of, yes, it might be pre-war, but it counts for something. And I think they do have a loyal fan base, like, Burnley. I've been Burnley away, like, it's for me, it has to count for something. So I've got them just
Great
above.
ground.
Great ground.
Great ground.
Yeah.
Turf Moor could be, do you know, I remember being there and we beat them 1-0 and it was John Terry's first match off the back of the Wayne Bridge scandal.
Right, yeah.
I'm sure that's what it was. And can you believe it? It's just so typical of Terry. We win 1-0, Terry scores.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Probably the most impassioned abuse I've ever seen in a stadium.
Really?
You know, when it's like poison, like hatred.
Yeah.
Burnley fans to Terry. And then he pops up with a winner. He's just like, that's who he is. You know,
yeah.
That is who he is. But it is a great old ground. Do you know? I would say that Turf Moor, Loftus Road, those kind of grounds. If anybody was interested in football culture in this country, but didn't live here. If you're an American and you really like football in this country, I would really be upset if the first time they came to a game in this country, they went to maybe the Emirates or to Tottenham or to even the new West Ham ground or Man City's new ground. Go to Turf Moor. Go to Craven Cottage. Go to Loftus Road. They're so much better.
So much history.
So much history. So much truer to what football here is. So they do deserve credit for that. I've got Wolves here.
What position?
I've got Wolves. So just above Palace, I've got Wolves, which is 15th.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Wolves are. Molineux, another great ground. They've got a good history, Wolves, and they're quite a big club. Like we're getting into now fairly big clubs. This is a state of the conversation now.
I think 15 to 8 is the toughest for me. The middle of this table is tough. So
sorry, I've got Wolves here. They're 14th. So I've got Palace 15th, Wolves 14th.
So we agree. I've got Wolves 14th.
Wolves 14th.
We've got our first.
Yeah,
bang on.
First bang on. Right.
Nice.
And who have you got above Wolves? Just
above Wolves, I've gone West Ham.
Right.
So again, I think they're in a period where they're in, their best history in for however long, winning that Conference League. And I think West Ham are a big club. I certainly think they're a bigger club than Fulham and Palace, but I think they're a bigger club than they are.
We won the World Cup, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, West Ham have proper fans. It's a great club with great history, and they've won a lot of trophies. So
I agree.
There's no hate, but I just think once we start to move up this table, I'm looking at names that just cannot be below West Ham.
Yeah, I've got Forest here.
Really?
I've got Forest.
Really?
Just look, Forest
high.
Have you?
Higher than.
Well, I've got Forest just below West Ham. So everything that you said about West Ham, I agree with.
Yeah.
I think that the history of West Ham, if you think about the players that have played for West Ham over the years,
yeah,
like England's greatest, I think I've got a picture of him over there, like Bobby Moore.
Yeah.
He is West Ham.
Yeah.
Jeff Hurst, it is West Ham. You look at the players that have come out of that academy: Rio Ferdinand, Michael Carrick, Joe Cole, Frank Lampard. Like, I just think that West Ham, whilst they're not, I don't think they're a huge club. I do think that they are a really good club with a rich pedigree, and ultimately I've got them just above Forest. I've got Forest.
I think that's low for Forest.
But Forest, apart from one of the most dazzling things that's ever happened in football, in the way that Leicester did one of the most dazzling things. So what Forest did was get promoted, win the league, win the European Cup, win the European, like this mental,
ridiculous, will never happen
amazing,
again.
Like absolutely mind-blowingly, like Brian Clough, unbelievable, right? Martin O'Neill, icon, unreal. Promoted to winning the league, to winning the European Cup, to then going into the European Cup as holders and winning it.
Yeah,
but it's important to acknowledge that they're the only team in the whole of Europe to have won the European Cup more times than they've won their domestic league. So they've won their domestic league. They've only been champions here once.
Yeah,
they went into the European Cup twice because they won it, and then they went in as holders, and they won it again.
Yeah.
But apart from that period, apart from that 4-year period, that's it. Like, that is it.
I understand, but I'll get to Forest and my points on them later, but I've got them a lot higher. So Forest you have in 13th or 13th, where I have West Ham.
Yeah, and then I've got West Ham just above.
Okay.
Like, I think West Ham are... these are all now big clubs in the country, in Europe. Like, if we're talking about... But, if we were ranking other European clubs, I'd have West Ham above Sampdoria. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've just realised there's a name you haven't said yet, which means you've got them above Nottingham Forest, which is interesting to me. But
it could be my next club.
So I've gone West Ham in 13th. 12th, I've got Sunderland.
12th, you've got Sunderland. 12th, I've got Newcastle. On Newcastle, definitely. So you obviously, your huge exhale there is disbelief that I've put Sunderland.
I think Sunderland are a much bigger club than maybe a lot of fans would give credit for. Maybe modern fans wouldn't. I understand that. Like 12th on my list is high. They're a bigger club than a lot of the names we've already said. But I can't see how you've got them below Newcastle.
So in the debate of the North East clubs, then, do you just think that it is Newcastle bigger than Sunderland? That's that.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think based off of this biggest, if you're talking, I mean, I need to hear your arguments. But if you're talking Sunderland as like English support, maybe what is your argument for Sunderland being bigger? Like,
Sunderland
is it trophy hall?
Sunderland have won the league more times.
Okay.
I think the support is very comparable. They both have excellent support. They both have tribal, loyal support that have been through the ringer. So they both deserve huge amounts of credit for the support that they give. I feel like it's pretty much ebb and flow on that debate in terms of the support. When Sunderland come to London to play in Wembley, they totally pack Trafalgar Square. They do it the same way.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's much in it with regard to the support. In terms of history, Sunderland have won the league more times. And in terms of trophies, recent trophies, so Newcastle won one last year, which could affect things. But up until that point, Sunderland had won a trophy more recently than Newcastle. Sunderland won the FA Cup in '73, like Ian Porterfield, I think. That was far more recent success than Newcastle's, and that was an FA Cup. Newcastle's okay; they've won a trophy, but it was a League Cup. So I feel like the world, and again, I'm happy to be wrong here, and you can certainly make the case, but I feel like the world, particularly our world, like YouTube, online, they just see Newcastle as almost this Goliath club, and it's just not true. Like, I hear them labelled like sleeping giant, Newcastle, and it's just not true. It's like, based on what? They went nearly 100 years without a trophy. What is this sleeping giant story about?
Fine, yeah, it's a strong argument. I understand it, and I might be victim of it. I just feel Newcastle are like, you've got to factor in everything, right? So you're talking trophy hall, we've covered that. Fans, we've said they're even, but then you're not going to like this, but it comes down to recent like brand, worldwide support. What are like Newcastle? I don't know. I just feel like if I put myself growing up, I think of a lot more of Newcastle's memories in the Premier League than I would Sunderland's memories, and that has an influence on me. I see Shearer, I'd see the games. Do
you know what though? When I was a kid, really young, they weren't a Premier League team. They came up. They came up with like Gavin Peacock. They came up. They were like, this is like 93, whatever. They got promoted, so they weren't a Premier League team. It wasn't that long ago that they got relegated at Villa. It's Alan Shearer. It wasn't that long ago that they got relegated Rafael Benitez. Like, we're talking that I can remember now. Okay, one of them I was young, but there's 3 relegations. Not that old. Do you know, like, it's 3 relegations.
Yeah. It's a really strong argument. I can't like sit it. It's a really strong argument. You make great points. In this list, there's also just a personal feeling, and for me, I just
they've had Newcastle have had more icons. Newcastle, with Newcastle, you go think of Premier League moments. You think of Philippe Albert chipping a keeper. You think of Kevin Keegan nearly winning the league and going mad in their press conference. You think of Andy Cole's ridiculous goal tally. You think of Peter Beardsley's brilliance. You think of the more recent era that they've had. There's icons. And if you think, I don't know, David Ginola in the brown ale top.
Yeah.
Faustino Asprilla doing a backflip, scoring a hat-trick against Barcelona. Tamuri Ketsbaya battering the hoardings off the back of scoring a goal. Like, there's loads. Alan Shearer's volley against Everton. They have more than Sunderland. That on that story, no doubt. Sure. And you're also right about the brand. Who Newcastle are and where they're going. Although, I'll tell you what, Sunderland are having an impressive window.
Well,
Different video altogether,
Yeah,
but
yeah. This is a whole video you could debate.
Yeah.
Sunderland, Newcastle, but I've got. Let me just check. I've got Sunderland in 12th.
okay. So you've got Sunderland and Newcastle neck and neck as well, like together.
Yeah, so I have.
After
Sunderland...
all that, you've got them one place apart.
No, yeah, I do. I have them. I have Newcastle one place apart, so one above.
Right. So I've got Newcastle 11, Sunderland 10.
I've got Sunderland 12, Newcastle 11.
I can't think that's right. Yeah. So that's
I think we're right. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. What's happening, everyone? I'm terribly sorry to interrupt this video, and I really do hope you're enjoying it, but I have something big to tell you. I have started a members section. I've started doing loads and loads of content for my community, for the most loyal subscribers of this channel. If you fancy becoming part of it, I would love to welcome you in. There are some videos on there already, and we have some brilliant things to come. There's going to be Q&As, there's going to be live streams, there's going to be stuff that is simply exclusive for you. So if you want to be part of it, please do join the members section. To find out more, click the link in the description below, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Who have you got in 10?
I've got Newcastle 11, Forest 10.
Okay.
And I just think it's based off the European.
Yeah, it is massive.
You're a man who I've heard say London's only European Cup.
First
And there
only.
it is. There's the line. I've heard it a million times on a million shows with you. You put so much into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, yes, you covered it, but I just think it can't go unnoticed what that achievement is.
I do
like, it's
agree
massive.
with you. I do.
How many? There's not that many clubs we're talking about on this list that have a European Cup.
No, agreed. I
There's not that many
completely
that-
agree.
yeah,
The only thing is, you know when you see like a moment of true brilliance, for example, like we saw from Leicester, you wouldn't make Leicester a massive club off the back of a massive achievement, would you?
No, I
And this
understand that.
is a bigger achievement. Of course, it is. It's retaining the European Cup. It's unbelievable, but it's a moment in time, isn't it? Does that define the club? Does it change the entire face of the club? It might nudge it.
I think it's so big it does.
Okay, so
I
you've got them
honestly
in
think
10th.
it's so big it does. Yeah, I've got Forest in 10th.
Okay, there's not a huge discrepancy between us. I've got them in 13th. What about 9? This is where it all gets a bit messy.
This is where it gets. I'm scared. This is where I've gone Leeds. I've gone Leeds in 9th. Now, I'm not going to win any friends with this. I think that is a big club. That is the 9th biggest club in England. But I just can't find a way to put them any higher based off the list I've got. Obviously, historically, massive club, massive fan base. But I just can't see how I can push them up my table.
It's the metrics that you're using now. That's the hard thing. I haven't got them here, but I've got a similar. This all gets really tough. I've gone in this position in 9th. I've gone Villa.
Okay. Yeah.
I've gone Villa.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't feel right to me. I moved this one a lot. I rate Villa. I think that they are one of the biggest clubs in the country in terms of history and heritage and prestige. I think the whole end is one of the most iconic ends in the country. I love Villa Park. Obviously, what they achieved beating Bayern Munich in '82 was unreal. Like going to Holland and winning a European Cup. It was
It's crazy.
But I just struggle to put them. I just struggle to put them much higher. Not because of them. I rate them so highly, and I see them as big as like major European teams. Major, big European teams. I think Villa are bigger than.
Yeah.
But I don't see how I can make them bigger than some of the other clubs here. I just can't. I just can't rationalise it, and it's not because I don't acknowledge them.
Yeah, I mean Villa are massive. I've got Villa a little bit higher.
This is what
I've got
feels
European
so
Cup
wrong.
in there as well.
You've got them higher. See, I think they're higher, but do you know who ruined this list for me? My next team.
Go on.
I feel like I've had to put Man City next because they're not bigger than Villa. Man City aren't bigger than Villa under normal circumstances. Do you think I'm right on that?
Yeah, I think they. I think it's like it's time to realise that they are.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think they won 4 Premier League titles in a row. They've won a European Cup. City are much higher on my list. I think I understand the old heads saying, they're a new club, it's new money. I get that, but with everything they've accomplished now, I can't have much. So what position have you got City in?
I've got City in 8th. But I very nearly had them in 9th and Villa above them. But
really?
Like Villa haven't won a trophy since they won that League Cup.
Yeah.
Like that League Cup and that league, it was Dwight York.
Yeah.
It was Dwight York scoring for them. They beat Leeds.
They do need a trophy.
Like that was 1993. Do Do you know, like, how can I possibly argue that they're bigger? I mean, I think on some level they are, and there'd be metrics that I could argue that Villa are bigger. But you are right. The Centurions, the 4 in a row, the treble, the European Cup, like the constant success over the past decade from Man City.
It's big.
Whilst Villa have been in the Championship.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so you've got City in 8th.
Yeah.
My
above Villa though, but that's now I'm doubting myself. But I'm going to stick with it.
Well, my 8th is Everton.
Yeah.
I think massive club. I actually think Everton on this list are probably the club that, maybe I'm wrong, but I think people would have lower.
I've got higher.
Yeah, no, I think I know how much you love Everton.
Yeah.
I know how much you love Everton, but I think the general football fan would think Everton
because they haven't won a trophy since 1995.
But they're just a massive football club.
I agree.
So I've got them in 8th.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got Everton much higher. In 7th, I've got Leeds. I've got Leeds above Man City, despite being out of the Premier League for 20 years. That's how big I rate Leeds.
Is that just because of the Leeds-Chelsea rivalry?
Yeah, a bit.
You think you're a little bit? They're a bit more relevant to you.
I'm aware of the scale of the club.
Yeah,
I'm aware, and support base. Arguably, I don't necessarily think this, but arguably the most impressive support base in the country. I think that there are one teams like City.
Yeah.
They are about as big as you can get. They will sell out any allocation. They have an amazing history. Crucially, you know the prestige that you've put into Forest for winning the European Cup and the acknowledgement that you gave Aston Villa for winning the European Cup. It's very important to remember and acknowledge with Leeds, they were completely robbed of a... Like, this is factual. This isn't me. This isn't nonsense chat. This is genuinely fact. 1975, they played in Paris against Bayern. And it's one of those, you know, Drogba's, it's a disgrace. They lost the game 1-0. They were totally robbed. And that referee never refereed again. It was an actual carve-up. Yeah. Leeds United in 75 would have won the European Cup, but they didn't. They didn't. They have very recent, when I say very recently, in the modern era, David O'Leary's team been to a Champions League semi-final. You know the power that you put into Fulham and they got to a Champions League semi-final. They got beat by Valencia, I think, but they were in a Champions League semi-final. You know, Lee Bowyer, Jonathan Woodgate, Mark Viduka.
Yeah.
They've just had a terrible 20 years of it. A terrible 20 years. But they also have won league titles. They won the last league title prior to the Premier League. Like the last old football first division, they won it. Leeds, I've gone 7th, and I could have gone higher. I could swap.
There's a lot.
6 and 7, I could swap easy.
Yeah, I think my 9, 8 and 7 is, so Leeds in 9th, Everton 8th, 7th I've got Villa. So I could interchange them.
Yeah, we're
all
a little bit similar
They're massive football clubs.
Yeah.
And you can flip a coin.
See,
for me.
The ones who cause me a problem, Villa, I respect as being massive and always have thought that. Leeds, massive, I always have thought that. We'll come on to the others. The ones that cause me the biggest problem here is Man City.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because they kind of, I've kind of had to punctuate City into this.
Yeah.
Into an area where I don't know if they necessarily belong. It's hard.
No,
really
it is.
Hard.
It is.
Who have you got in 6th?
In 6th, Tottenham.
Me too.
Okay.
So we've agreed.
We agree on that. Yeah.
I went high with Tottenham here, I think. Looking at it now.
You think they should be lower? Who would you think they could be lower than on that list? Because for me, Tottenham have to be above Everton.
There's certainly an argument that they're not. There's certainly an argument that Tottenham are bigger than Man City.
There's an argument. There is
certainly
an argument, but I can't discount what City have accomplished recently. It's too big.
It's just too big, isn't it?
It's just too big.
Yeah.
People are sort of writing them off this season, and that's a whole nother topic. But I think 4 in a row, Centurions, European Cup. It's just they've got the Ballon d'Or player there. Like they are an absolute.
Yeah. Okay. So Tottenham in 6, we agree then.
Tottenham in 6th, and then I've got 5th place is Man City for me.
Oh wow, you got them. Okay, maybe. So I was thinking that I put Man City too high, but I've had them in 8th, and you've put them in 5th.
5th, yeah.
Okay.
Just based off what we've spoken about, I think that there's just massive accomplishments, and I don't necessarily think without those accomplishments, Man City would be bottom of this list. I think there's a bit of a prejudgment that goes on with City of say Man City hadn't had the dominance that they've had over the last 15 years, 10 years. Would you have them?
Oh, low.
Right at the bottom of this list? How low would you have them? You know, it's just
where they were compared to where they are. They were around Newcastle, West Ham. They were around that.
Yeah.
They're definitely not that anymore. I agree.
But you've said around Sunderland. For me, like, they're massive clubs. Yeah. So they're a big club. They were a big club.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they've become because of their success.
Yeah.
They've become this like, they were nothing before, but they were something.
Are you convinced?
Before.
Just with your own selection here, just to ask you, I've got Tottenham 2 places above Man City. You've got Man City above Tottenham. Are you comfortable with that decision? Are Man City definitely bigger than Tottenham?
It's hard for us being London. I think because we live in London, it feels like Tottenham should be bigger. But I just think in the global scale of football, and if we're taking everything into account, as we have done in this video, if we're talking about the brand, we're talking about the trophies, we're talking about the fans, we're talking about everything, Man City for me are a bigger club than Tottenham right now.
Yeah, on a lot of the metrics that you just listed. So Tottenham were the first team to ever win a double.
Yeah.
Like Bill Nicholson and all that. Like that Danny Blanchflower team. You look at the icons over the years, icons galore at Tottenham. Galore. You know, like players... They sing, don't they, about players being born to play for Tottenham in a very particular way. Gareth Bale was born to play for Spurs. Teddy Sheringham born to play. You know, that kind of approach. Ginola. Then you think of that Ozzy Ardiles, Glenn Hoddle, icon after icon. They obviously won a European trophy very recently. They won a European trophy in 82, 81, 82. I also, simply support Tottenham have a bigger support than Man City by distance.
Definitely. Yeah. 100%.
But okay, so now we're top 5. This is where it's serious.
Yeah.
I've got 5th Everton.
So yeah, you've got them high. I have them 8th.
Bearing in mind, I've got them 5th, and they haven't won a trophy since 1995. Paul Rideout. Yeah. Like they haven't won a trophy since Paul Rideout, and I'm saying that's how high they are. 5th.
I think that's generous. I don't think they're the 5th biggest club. I can't get on board with that.
They've just been so rubbish for so long, but they are.
They're massive, but I just don't think they're the 5th biggest club in...
Who's got more league titles than them? Only like 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah, but
they've got more league titles.
When was the last one?
No, they weren't. That's the problem. They were all through the... They were dominant in the 80s. Graham Sharp, weren't they? The 80s was their era and Liverpool's. Yeah. It was like FA Cup final was often Ian Rush scoring against Everton. You know, it was like Merseyside thing. God, I've got an Everton high here, haven't I?
You have.
So what, do you think it's wrong that I've got Everton above Man City?
It's your list, and I think it's nice to see Everton get some respect, but I think you've maybe been a little generous. A little generous. Everton a bigger club than Manchester City? Really? When you ask yourself that question? If you're asking yourself who's more historic, if you're asking yourself maybe who has better support, it's Everton. But if you're asking who's a bigger club, I think it's Man City.
I think that you might be onto something the way that you're phrasing this. I'm getting a little bit worried about my list. I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah,
Everton in 5th, but I do see the issue. Only 4 teams have won more league titles than them. Man City, by the way, have now won more league titles than them.
Yeah,
by 1. And you look at what it's taken. They've had to win 4 in a row to go 1 above Everton. They've had to have like Pep Guardiola and all of this to go 1 above Everton. Yeah. Think about what Everton were when Man City. Think about what Everton were 10 years ago when Man City didn't have Sheikh Mansour. 15 years ago.
Yeah, of course. But
a new stadium. You know when we talk. I got annoyed earlier when I spoke about Newcastle, sleeping giant, and I don't see them as a sleeping giant. I see them as a very prestigious club, but not a sleeping giant. Everton are. Everton are a sleeping giant. Leeds are a sleeping giant.
On your arguments, I can see. Yeah, I can see what you put together there. You're probably right.
Okay, top 4.
Chelsea 4th for me.
It's so difficult.
It's so difficult
because Chelsea and Arsenal, depending on your argument, depending on your rationale, depending on what you want to talk about, it's. I can easily make a case for Chelsea being bigger than Arsenal, and it's predominantly about success. It's predominantly about European success. It's predominantly about Arsenal's pitiful record in Europe. It's about what Chelsea did to Arsenal in Baku, something that isn't acknowledged enough. We played them in a European final and we scored 4 past them. We absolutely battered them. Yeah. Scored 4 past them in a European final. It's not discussed enough. It's Chelsea winning league title after league title when Arsenal have gone over 20 years now without one. It's Arsenal never winning a European Cup. Chelsea have it. There's so many, but do you know where it all comes crumbling down? If you're an honest Chelsea fan, fans.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you landed on that.
They're so much bigger than us.
You walk around London, it's Arsenal everywhere.
Mate, if Arsenal had got to that Champions League final, do you know part of the reason I didn't want Arsenal to get there? Don't get me wrong. I was having sleepless nights. You know when they beat Real Madrid home and away, I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it. Arteta is actually going to do it. They're going to do it. And I was really worried.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I was like dreading? A Champions League final day in London with Arsenal playing.
Yeah.
It's a no-go zone.
Yeah.
It's a no-go zone.
Yeah.
Arsenal will just dominate London. Every single pub. It doesn't matter, by the way, if you want to go to a pub in Dalston or Highbury Corner, which is their manor, or you go to a pub in Fulham, which is not their manor, it will be them.
100%.
It will be their pub.
100%. It's something I said earlier, like, to add to that, if I think I've got more Arsenal mates than anyone else, any other club.
That's just
my little bubble, my little existence. Yeah. But yeah, you walk around London, it's all Arsenal. I think if they can do something soon, if they can win a Champions League, like you've just said, for me, then it's set. Then it's if they get one European Cup, Chelsea and Arsenal, you could flip it. That's my 3 and 4. But I think like it's because of the 2 European Cups that Chelsea
I've
are
done
up
it the other way around. I've gone Chelsea above
so you've
Arsenal.
Arsenal, Chelsea, yeah.
But I've done it obviously from bias. But I've also done it just on pure relevance for the last 20 years. Like this isn't anymore a blip or an anomaly. Like I'm old enough to remember going to Highbury where their fans would sing about us winning the league in black and white because we hadn't done it recently. They're nearly at black and white now. You know, like you're 21 years.
Yeah, it's a while. They need something. They need something, don't they?
Something.
They need something because it is turning.
You know when they were laughing at us, when their fans were really mocking Chelsea, like they used to sing "No silverware, no silverware," right? When they used to sing that to us, we had gone at that point about 20 years without silverware, and that's what they were singing to us. I know Arsenal have won silverware; they've had cups in between,
FA Cups. Yeah.
But if you talk about top tier silverware, they've now done what we were doing.
Yeah,
like. They need something. But fans and history. Like they've won the league 13 times.
Yeah, and Chelsea are a massively iconic club, obviously, but Arsenal are just a little bit more iconic. If I just feel, if I know you're not going to feel
it's
this,
Henry,
you're
though,
Chelsea.
isn't it? You're going to talk about Henry, aren't you?
It's that era, but it's before that era. It's just I can see. I can see more Arsenal. You mentioned it with Newcastle really well. It's like moments that you grow up with, like loving football and watching. I've got more Arsenal moments as a football fan than
if you
Chelsea
do them off
moments.
the top of your head, you're doing Dennis Bergkamp's goal at the old Filbert Street. You're doing Thierry Henry running the length of the pitch against Tottenham. Yeah. You're doing Cesc Fabregas from kickoff against Tottenham. You're doing that. Will Tour at Old Trafford, Overmars at Old Trafford. You're literally churning them out, aren't you?
And of course, Chelsea have moments. Even still, like Rice, like what he did against Madrid. There's just those moments that Arsenal, I think, have slightly more of. But
I think,
overall,
would you not make the case as well? Chelsea, Lampard taking the ball around Jaska line and Didier Drogba's goal at Goodison Park.
Torres in the Nou camp.
I mean, Demba Ba against Liverpool.
It's a flip of a coin, but it's just a feeling. And for me, the feeling is like Arsenal are just a little bit bigger.
So we've got this in reverse order.
Basically the same, yeah.
We've got this in reverse order. Okay, so now we might as well announce our winner. There's no point in talking about second spot. We
might have gone different here.
Who have you said is the biggest club in the country?
I've gone with the 3rd biggest club in the world,
which is
Manchester United, the biggest club in the country.
Have you still gone that? See, you know how we talk about the evolution of this conversation and the evolution of clubs. Can they still be that?
So you've got Liverpool.
I've got Liverpool top.
They can't. For me, I just had to think, who is the 3rd biggest club in the world? And for me, it's always been Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. That's just how I see. That's how I see football. Liverpool are far more successful right now. Manchester, I think 10 more years maybe they could fall off if this carries on. They're definitely falling, but they are just, for me, they're still on top.
Do you see Barcelona as big as... Do you see Barcelona in that sort of category? Top category?
I see Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. Top 3 clubs in the world.
See, I used to say Man United always. I always thought that Manchester United were, and primarily that was because Manchester United were winning the league year after year, and Liverpool weren't. Liverpool are now, and Manchester United are in the doldrums. However badly it went for Liverpool, it was never this.
Yeah.
In the Premier League era, for Liverpool, it was never this. Manchester United losing a final to Tottenham in Europe. Yeah. Manchester United finishing, 15th in the league. It wasn't this. Scoring 40 goals in a season. It wasn't this. And Manchester United have fallen so far in this recent era that I think that Liverpool are now the biggest club in the country. They're moving in the right direction. They've always had the prestige. They've they've won another European Cup. You know, like I remember when it was 4. Do you remember Robbie Fowler scoring in the Stretford end?
Yeah.
And Fowler giving it that 4-2.
Yeah.
Like Manchester United have won one since. They've got more. Like they've.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
6. Yeah.
they're doing it in Europe more frequently. If they keep going up at the same rate, Manchester United aren't getting closer. Manchester United, since Robbie Fowler's 4-2, United have won 1, Liverpool won 2, and been to 2 other finals that they've lost. Oh my God! Hang on a minute. Did you hear that? Just said they've won 2 more and been to 2 other finals that they've lost.
Yeah.
In the period where Man United haven't even come close to winning one.
Yeah. I actually think from when I started this conversation, I said 10 years maybe of Man United doing this. I actually think it might be less. I still have Manchester United on top, but I think 3 or 4 years is more realistic to say. If Manchester United is still in the bottom half of the Premier League table, Liverpool have won another league, another European Cup, it's almost not close at that point. Because
also, you know the 2020 thing.
Yeah,
Liverpool have just got the European Cup away.
Yeah.
And in terms of support, you know, if we like, what is a defining factor, and it's impossible for a Chelsea fan being rational to argue with. Arsenal have more fans. Like that's just non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to this, but I feel like Liverpool, Man United just both have 1 billion fans. There's nothing between.
Yeah, I think Manchester United globally have more.
Do you think? I haven't got a clue.
I don't know.
That could well be true.
I think Manchester United globally may probably have a little bit more, but it's close. I think this is so close. But for me, I don't know. Maybe it's just.
I don't see how you can be the biggest club in the country.
Finish 15th.
The biggest club in the country, finish 15th, not have won a league title for over a decade, not be in the Champions League at all. Like, you can have a year like that. But I would say since Fergie's departure, they have been in the Europa League far more than they've been in the Champions League.
Yeah.
They've played more Europa League games, definitely, than they've played Champions League games. They're a Europa League team, by definition, post-Fergie, which is well over 10 years now.
Yeah. But I think, no, it's true. It's so close, Rory.
It's so close.
Close.
It's so close. And what you don't have in this argument, annoyingly, maybe the European Cup argument is one, but what you don't have in this argument is, you know, with Arsenal-Chelsea, if I want to say Chelsea, go 2 European Cups, what are you talking about? And Arsenal fans will go, we have quadruple the fans of you. And then somebody has to pick what's more significant.
Yeah.
I'll go, we're Club World Cup champions. They'll go, we've won 13 league titles. And someone will have to pick what's more important. I'll go, we've got icons like Didier Drogba. I'll go, we've got icons like Dennis Bergkamp. And you pick. With Man United and Liverpool, there isn't that. The fans are the same. The league title's virtually there. European Cup, Liverpool by far.
Yeah.
It feels so on edge. Old Trafford is big oak. Does that matter? Is that no, that doesn't matter.
No, you're right.
I'm right. You're changing your mind.
You know, the way you've explained it is brilliant because the fans are the same. I'd argue I think Man United have a slightly bigger global fan base if you care about that. I don't really. But
I have no idea. I have no idea if they do or not.
But I think the European Cups is massive, isn't it? 6 European Cups
and 2 finals they've been beaten, recent finals. Like they've been beaten other finals as well. Like obviously they got beaten Athens a couple of years after winning it. They got beaten Athens 07, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I'm not even talking about that final they lost. I'm talking about like Kiev, Paris.
Yeah.
Just yesterday.
Yes.
How many
No, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Manchester United for now. If you ask me to do this video in a year, it might have changed. I think it's that close.
If Liverpool win the league and Manchester United finish,
then they go above them. Then they go above them in almost all. You know, because it's neck and neck, and they're above them in leagues, above them in European Cups. It becomes a bit.
There we have it, John. This has been a joy, mate. I love talking football with you. It's always really pleasurable experience. So thank you so much for finding the time. Make sure that you check out John's YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. Make sure that you go and subscribe to John. Wonderful football content on there. I saw a great video recently. Chris MD, Bazinga, all the big dogs.
Yeah,
I didn't get the call up.
No.
Next I'm waiting by the phone.
Next one, mate.
I'm waiting by the phone. I'm Peter Odd and Wingy, waiting for the call up. Thank you to everybody for watching. Really do appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see you all in a bit. Ta-da.